a defrosted sausage and tried to spear it onto the stick and mush it. And that's not me criticizing anyone, okay? I happen to like sausages. The way I see it, the universe has a slow but steady way of balancing things out. It might not happen right away. Sometimes it takes way longer than we'd like, but just those choices you've got. This is a woman sitting on the internet rejoicing in the alleged dying days of another human being. And she pumped Prince Andrew. I said it. I don't give a crap. She pumped Prince Andrew. Can we trust a woman? Can we trust that woman? Allegedly pumped him. Because it seems to me like when the ex-girlfriend of the guy in question, okay? Well, let me bring you up on a wee image here, Lady Victoria. Uh-huh. 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 Let's just have a little look here, shall we? We are going into Sean Connery mode. Okay. So, let's talk about karma, shall we? So, this is... You want to talk about karma and things coming around. This looks like a scene from a movie, right, where this woman has just brokered a deal for a great new sale of a house for this guy, except it wasn't a house, it was a right? Right? Mad! Anyway, 1 second, let's go back to the article. Sorry, I got digressed. Okay. At least we've got the mic running through this now, because that wouldn't have worked with the other mics out. Okay, hashtag karma. Following the incident, the woman who was driving Virginia at the time of the collision over claims the crash had left her with just days to live. I can't remember if that woman claimed that, but I can tell you what she did claim, or she didn't claim, right? Is when she was interviewed by the police the following day, no one's mentioned if they've asked her if anyone else was in that car. Because I hate to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, but I have to go with who I feel are the real people in this. And sadly, you can all call me an idiot. You can call me a fool. But I'm going to choose to go with the bus driver's story, okay? And here's why. If the bus driver wasn't a real guy in this, he would have told us that Virginia was in the car. Like, what does that go to prove? Like, we know that the car crash took place. I'm so confused. Like I say, the more I stare at this, the dumber I get. 100%. I'd also like to point out that Ron is a tough sale on proof of life. There was one time that I was very concerned for Big Homie, and somebody was on the other end of his phone saying that he was Big Homie's mum, and I didn't believe them. I need a lot of proof of life, and I ain't seen nothing. We've got this crazy biatch, right? Lady Victoria Harvey, criticizing this woman. And then we've got Cheryl, old Cheryl, 71, driving the white hatchback when the police described it as a minor incident. She claimed that the collision was a simple misunderstanding and everything has been sorted out. How do you go from minor traffic accident with one person in a car to a story that went from, I drove myself to the hospital after the 100-kilometer crash, oh, I went to a center where then they sent me home and then I got sent to hospital again. But hey, don't worry, I was not seen going into hospital. I wasn't seen leaving hospital. There's no witnesses that say I was in the car, and the accident was so minor, it was an exchange of information. What's going on? What's going on? What is going on? I know you're hearing me say it. I'm genuinely asking you, what is going on? Right, let's jump into the news again, right? Because we're getting nothing. What we're getting, ladies and gentlemen, right? If you don't know how all this works, right? So let's talk hypothetically here about if you wanted to destroy someone and then make them disappear. Okay? Hypothetically speaking, all right? If we had somebody we wanted to discredit, see, the problem is, if you've got somebody like Virginia and you just take them out the game suspiciously, you make them a martyr. Oh no, we got some Julia stuff coming, people. Do not worry. Do not worry. Okay. Do not worry. It's all starting on Monday. And now I've forgotten what I was saying. Okay, so you've got someone like her. So if you were to take her out the game now, you would make her a martyr. All right? You'd make her a martyr because everyone would be like, "Oh no, oh no, they've taken the one woman who Gonzo," right? So you need to destroy her first in the public. Once someone's been publicly crucified, metaphorically speaking, by the internet, then you're clear to, you know what I'm saying? The old, you know what I'm saying? And if you can do it in a way that makes this person look bonkers and then somehow make it all of the internet's fault for criticizing her and pushing her over the edge, even better. Even better. You know what I'm saying? I actually spoke to Julia today. She is... So, Ron had a bit of a tough week last week. And Julia has phoned me almost every single day just to make sure I'm okay. Okay? Just to put it in perspective. She's in jail worrying about her friends and making sure she touches base with them. And like, how awesome is that? How awesome is that? You know what I mean? And she knows how uncomfortable it makes me. Like, she knows how uncomfortable it makes me knowing that people care. There's a couple other people out there like that too. And I know you're watching. I know you know too. But it's nice. It's nice to have somebody other. And I'm not saying like I don't have somebody who cares, but she's in prison, mate. Do you know what I mean? And she's like, okay, just wanted to make sure you're all right. Speak to you later. Poof. Legend, absolute legend. So yeah. What else? We're reading this freaking thing. Jesus. Okay. I'm not covering her. I'm not implicated in a cover-up. What? Okay. 71-year-old claimed the collision symbol. I'm not covering for her. Whoa. I'm not implicated in a cover-up. She described the incident as a misunderstanding. How? I'm sorry, dumbass. You're 71. My mum's older than you. And if she gets hit by a bus in a car, she ain't having any misunderstanding. Okay? If the misunderstanding was which side of the car the bus hit, no problem. You're 71. You probably got a bit of a spook. It's no problem. But to not remember that the car was going fast enough to vaporize you and not remember if there was a passenger, dumbass, right? Because there is holes all over this, man. And I'm telling you now, why is no one else picking holes in this? I feel like the Illuminati's sitting by going, no one's talking about this. Apart from that pesky Ronald. Read that again, please, Ron. Really? Okay. Hang on. Where am I looking? She described the incident as a misunderstanding. Following the accident, the woman who was driving Virginia at the time of the collision over claims the crash had left her with just days to live. Why do people write like that? Cheryl was driving Virginia's white hatchback when the police described as a minor accident with a school bus. She claimed the collision was a simple misunderstanding and everything has been sorted out. I'm not covering for her. I'm not implicated in a cover-up. What? This is the actual news, okay? Somebody got paid to write this. She described the incident as a misunderstanding. Oh yeah, Uber. I knew you'd be forensically like just sitting there going over this one because. Okay, yesterday it came to light. Victoria was due to appear in court alleging breaching a family violence restraining order, which she was not required to attend this. All right. Restraining order just days before claiming she had days to live following a bus crash. A charge was lodged against her at the magistrate's court in Joondalup, Western Australia on March 14th. No plea was entered at the hearing, and the matter is next listed for a hearing on April 9th, which was yesterday. Her estranged husband, Robert, is also facing separate charges. They must have slapped the crap out of each other, these two. Victoria was charged with inadequate storage for guns. Oh, no. Incorrect storage of guns and reckless driving, and has been fined $1,200. I think that's Australian dollars. So, yeah. And has lost her license for 6 months for reckless driving. Victoria sparked concerns when she posted battered and bruised photo. Battered and bruised, that's exactly what it looks like. Yep. It doesn't look like I was murdered by a bus at 100 kilometers an hour and then scientifically stuck back together. Jesus. Just so you know, you can do a really simple experiment, right, at home, if you'd like to see what would happen if a bus collides with you at 70 miles an hour. All you need to do is if you take a standard grape and just put it on the counter, bring your flat palm up to roughly level with your ear, and then sharply exhale and slam that motor, just batter that grape. That is a close demonstration of what would happen. That's what would happen. Thank you, Linda. My hair is looking all right today. I'm pleased with it. However, police said it was only a minor crash. A statement was issued on behalf of yesterday that said, Virginia thanks every. And do you know what else? I feel like in the Illuminati, someone screwed up here. I feel like it was like day one. It's a new Illuminati member. Maybe it's like someone's hired their freaking nephew, right? You know, Cyril, right? He's not exactly the best, right? But, you know, it's the Illuminati boss's freaking nephew. We've got to let him have a shot. I feel like he was maybe in like a public toilet and it ran out of paper and he got stuck in the cubicle for hours. And he was meant to be at the road where this bus collision happened to then subsequently unalive everyone in a believable fashion, like a big fiery ball of flames, right? And since then, Cyril has been trying to fix this. Oh, see, I've got 4 days to live. I'll be fine. Don't worry. All right, I'll be fine. makes sense. Frickin' Cyril. Some hamster on a piano madness. I'm not making funny. I'm not being funny, Dorian, right? That actually does, it makes sense when you apply the Illuminati intern algorithm. It makes sense. Oh, Uber Fuber is down in here. Let's see what's going on here. Uber, can you hear me, you handsome devil? I don't know if you can. Let me just fix my audio. No, you can't. So broadcast stream, and then we'll put you on, what channel do you want to go? Let's put you on the chat channel. And if I turn off, can you hear me now, Uber? You should be able to hear me now if you're actually there. You may not be here. Oh, there you are.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, you handsome devil. How are you?
Hello, mate. Handsome. I haven't been called that very often just lately.
Well, listen. Listen, I call it as I see it, okay? Not that I've ever
mate,
seen.
you're right.
I'm all right.
Hello, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Can you guys confirm that you can all hear Uber? Can you, hang on, Uber, can you just count to 5 for me?
1,
yeah,
2,
they can hear you. They can
3,
hear you. If 4, I can see that little gray circle moving, they can hear you. Right. Cool. So Uber, listen, mate. Right, listen.
Yes, mate.
So before we jump into this, I want to get your thoughts on Lady Victoria Harvey and her karma post. Right, and let's not even go conspiracy theory. Let's go, how poor of a taste of a post from an aristocratic female it's disgusting. So I want to hear your reaction to that first, and then we'll dive into the meat of all this. What was your take?
I thought it was quite tasteless, wasn't it? Regardless of what Victoria Guthrie might have gone through, whether it be a car accident or not, she definitely doesn't look very healthy there. So the last thing I'd be doing is taking the mick. Personally, I think it was very poor taste. I think she should know better. You don't care what somebody's been through. If they're looking like that, that's not good. So I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
Yeah, or maybe she knew. Maybe she knows more than we do.
Maybe, but still, I mean, if they're proper injuries, she doesn't deserve to be mocked and dragged through the media like that. And even the people in the chat are going, she looks dead, and she actually does look dead.
It actually looks.
She does not look healthy, does she? Let's be honest.
I'm not being funny, but if you were Lady Victoria Harvey, I'm not being funny, but you've styled your hair awfully similar to how this woman is lying in this hospital bed.
She looks. Do you know what that picture looks like? It looks like it should be in a thumbnail for Coronation Street or something.
Yeah, all right, I'll take that. That's all right.
What she looks like there.
Yeah, we can put that on the internet.
She is.
We can definitely put that on the internet. Now, we just had somebody mention the eyes. It was Sophia. So, yeah, we've been talking about the eyes a lot. I think we've all sort of landed on the same thing here, that we don't think this is a picture of a living person. Now, but Ron, she was seen the other day in a vehicle. Okay.
Was she?
Well, this is from 3 hours ago, right? Daily Mail. Victoria breaks cover. All right, there's a video too, Uber. We're getting spoiled here.
Let's have a look. Get spoiled here,
Okay, we don't even have this. The content. Oh no, here we're getting an advert first, right?
Okay. So, yeah, of course we've got to have an advert, haven't we?
For the first time, after claiming that she only had 4 days to live, the traffic victim was released from hospital after being involved in a serious car crash.
Is that her? Is that her after coming out of hospital with sticking the middle finger up?
Yeah. So
what? So we're meant to believe that she was laying on that bed, busted up like that, and then with her face not a mark on it, like literally days later. What happened?
Here's the thing. Her brother said, nowhere did Victoria want to give the impression that her injuries came from the bus crash. That's what her brother posted. That's what her brother's saying.
I can't believe that. Why is she posting that picture then, saying that she...
Correct. Now, Ron, a real weird energy. This could be the lady... Could this Victoria lady know more than... Tichelle, we're talking about the ex-girlfriend of somebody at the largest human transportation case in the world.
Yeah.
I would just like to apologize for anything you've caught off that energy, Tichelle. Okay, make sure that you go and give yourself a good saging, a good old saging, my G, like super sage, like break open grandmama's ancient sage. Okay.
Yeah. Hover yourself over the ashes and everything.
Yeah. You wanna cleanse thy spirit and soul.
Kids, don't try this at home.
So
Oh dear.
it's just mad, Uber, right? So
It
now
really
listen,
is.
Uber, you're kind of one of our community member who's like quite you're quite open about you very much like the forensic side of detective work, the how people write
I love
things,
it. All
how people
behavioural
say
stuff,
things, yeah, behavioral stuff, yeah. So first of all, yeah, take us like first of all, you're not claiming to be an expert. Uber's not claiming to be an expert.
No, not at all. I'm learning.
But all I'm saying is,
way to go, yeah.
If you're reading something about model trains and your next door neighbor happens to be really into model trains, it's probably all right to talk to him about said model trains, right? So take us through your hobbyist forensic analysis of this from day one, like the original post, how that made you feel, and up till now. Take us through that. And
well, okay, so the first post I was aware of was Virginia's post from apparently from hospital, and she was all busted up. Yeah, the one where she looks unalived. Okay, that was the first I heard it because I don't normally watch the news. It's just not unless there's something on it. So that was the picture I saw, and she heard that she'd been in a crash. She sounded really down in the dumps. That post where she said, "Oh, everything's shit" and all that. Like, the general context of that was emotionally. She seems very drained. She lost all hope. And it does look like it's been written by a female. Now we're hearing that the bus crash was only a very minor one. And overall, she shouldn't have had those injuries in the first place. But then we see this a picture of her coming out of the hospital in a car, not a mark on her face, putting up the bird for everybody for all to see. She's obviously been snapped by the paparazzi. It's Virginia Hervey, who I've never heard of.
Okay,
and she just looks like an extra from Constipation Street. But regardless,